Hi, Dave Jones here again with the last instalment on the beginner, the level 1 section of chord practicing, basically changing between chords. We're looking at what chords called dominant 7 chords today. Now, dominant 7 chords are usually written with, or always written with, the letter E, A, B, whatever, with the number 7 straight after it, nothing else, just 7. Dominant 7 chords are used in all styles of music, but when you get more than one dominant 7 chord in the same sequence, it's usually a blues of some description. Very big chords in blues music. So the first exercise, again using this simple but methodical method of practicing chords, just the downward strums, E7, A7, B7, and then E7 again, and we'll use just those 3 chords. Again, you can check the chords out on the site if you're following these lessons along. I won't dwell too much on the shapes because you can print them off or check them out yourself. And we'll start off with just the downward strums, and then we'll move on to some upward strums as well. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's your E7, A7 and B7. And then we've got another exercise. Exercise 2 uses G7, C7 and D7 chords. So again, you'll need to check these out. And I'll count this in and then we'll go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm not expecting you to get these all that quickly. If you're, if you're not a beginner, you shouldn't really be following these lessons. You'll probably be too advanced for this. But I'm not expecting you to get them all that quickly. I'm just sort of demonstrating a way of practicing the chords. And sometimes it's good to practice a type of chord, like dominant 7s or minors or whatever, or majors, in a sequence without the other types in there to begin with, because it gets your ears used to the sounds of those chords, because each chord has a different sound, like we spoke about before. I'll go a bit more into this afterwards. So what we're going to do now is we'll move on to the E7, A7 and B7 chords, but this time with the up strum in there. Okay, yeah, so E7, A7, B7, but this time we're strumming just like before in the earlier lessons, which 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, down, 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 down. Okay, and the same exercise with the G7, C7 and D7 chords. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. What you should notice about the dominant 7 chords is that they sound kind of bluesy, and they also sound like they need to go somewhere. When you finish that 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 4. It doesn't really sound totally resolved, if you like. It sounds like it needs to go somewhere. It's a good sort of way of identifying dominant 7 chords. If you want to move on to a few of the other lessons, there's a lesson up in level 2 called Preliminary Blues, which uses the E7, A7 and B7 chords with some strumming, but it also uses a little scale, blues scale in between, for developing the idea of playing a little lead line in between your rhythm playing for chords. So I hope you found that useful, and that kind of concludes the scale sequences in the chord sequences in level 1. I mean, if you're you can play all these chords and change between them. Like I say, you should be checking out some of the songs on the website too, because obviously it's more important to be able to play songs. Well, that's what you want to do anyway, but you should check out songs as well. But sometimes exercises have their benefits in learning new chords and being able to change between like for like chords in the right key and that sort of thing. So I hope you found that useful, and if you're following these lessons, I'll probably see you somewhere in level 2.